Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to be giving out 6 new rentals for the month of March for Regulation G. So if you still need a team to be able to climb the ladder, or if you still need something to play in an upcoming online tournament, or maybe an in-person tournament, a League Cup challenge, whatever it may be, we've got you covered here, and we have a good mix of our 6 teams here. So hopefully you find something that you like, and it'll serve you best for whatever needs you need, right? If you're going to the upcoming Baltimore regionals, hopefully this will give you some inspiration as far as like what you can bring, or maybe just the entire team itself is, you know, suitable enough for whatever you want to bring, and hopefully we help you out here. Okay, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and go through the rentals. And as always, we'll always go into the Pokepaste and we'll explain the EVs and why we did them the way we did. So let's go ahead and go into team number 1. Alright, so for our first rental here, we have a Calyrex Ice Rider squad. So the Calyrex is a Terra Fairy here, so this way we're able to resist the Dark weakness from something like a Dark Pulse Chiyu or even a Single Strike Urshifu. And then typical set here with the Clear Amulet to stop Intimidate. You have the Glacial Lance High Horsepower and the Trick Room and Protect idea. The idea is that we have a lot of support to try and even set up Trick Room. You have 3 redirectors in session. You have the Indeedee, the Smeargle, and the Ogerpon that can all click follow me here. And then the Indeedee, you know, just gives you terrain, an advantage over Miraidon, for example. It can also remove Rillaboom terrain if you need to. But again, it's another bulky redirector, especially with the Psychic Seeds that can help the Calyrex set up Trick Room. The Smeargle is also a highlight on this team here. So the idea when you add Smeargle to Calyrex Ice Rider teams, what you're saying, especially when you do your EVs, is that this Smeargle is able to outspeed the Calyrex in Trick Room. So what that means is you can go for a Decorate first, and then the Calyrex can click Glacial Lance. So now you're clicking +2 Glacial Lances, and that can help you pick up KOs and start steamrolling from there, right? And then at the same time, you also have Fake Out pressure from the Smeargle. You have Spore pressure. So, you know, you can set up these Trick Rooms, and then you're acting like an Amoonguss too when you click Spore here, right? So Smeargle, very dangerous if you don't deal with it immediately. The Ogerpon, same reason. Again, another bulky redirector, but this time, unlike the other two, the Ogerpon can actually deal out decent damage here. And then the Urshifu is a Choice Band set here with U-turn, so you're going to do a lot of damage. And then you can just pivot out with U-turn, just in case you click Close Combat there. And then the Indeedee can also be a decent lead with the Urshifu, right? Because you can just click Follow Me, protect the Urshifu, deal a bunch of damage first, and then in the end game, you can use Calyrex plus another redirector, set up Trick Room, and go for a game, right? Now, that being said, you have a lot of physical damage on the team, but where is the special damage here? So, hence, you have a Blood Moon Ursaluna with the Life Orb here, so think about Hyper Voice spam with Glacial Lance, double Spread Moon, but of course, it's going to do a lot of damage. You have the Life Orb, so even more damage, right? You are a normal and ground type, so that means you have a good advantage against Miraidon for the electric attacks, and at the same time, you're not going to take any damage from Astral Barrage because you are a normal type. So, yeah, and then you can hit it because of Mind's Eye, right? So you can even click Decorate into the Ursaluna and go for these hard-hitting Blood Moons or these hard-hitting +2 Hyper Voices. So think of it like that. You can decorate the Urshifu too. You can decorate the Ogerpon. The Smeargle can decorate all of our offensive threats here. And that's what makes it pretty dangerous on this type of squad here, right? So from here, what I want to do is just also just show you our EVs, so this way you can see how we did them. Alright, so here are the EVs on the screen here. So the Calyrex Ice Rider is a rather bulkier one. We took a lot away from the attack stat, so we just made it Adamant 116 to hit the second benchmark there, and we reinvested those EVs into the special defense because, you know, you're getting a Decorate boost ideally, so from there, you rather just have a little bit more survivability, and by investing a little bit more into its bulk there. So 252 HP and 116 special defense allows it to survive a Life Orb, Timid 252, Astro Barrage from a Calyrex Shadow Rider. So I felt like that was worth doing it. And of course, the 20 speed investment there, that just allows you to overspeed the Smeargle by 1. So this way under Trick Room, the Smeargle can outspeed your own Calyrex Ice Rider and go for the Decorate first before the Glacial Lance. The Indeedee here is just a standard 252 set here with Relaxed Natured. So you have physical boost from the EVs, and then you're getting the special defense anyway from the Psychic Seed there. So, you know, the best of both worlds. The Urshifu is an Adamant one. I'm sorry, a Brave one. All right, so 236 gets it to the benchmark there, but 132 HP and 140 special defense. So the HP just puts it at that nice even number for Rillaboom terrain that wants to come and maybe reset Indeedee terrain. But the 140 special defense combined with this HP allows you to survive one Bleak Wind Storm from a timid 252 Tornadus. The Ogre Pond Heartflame is also relatively bulky, so this way you can be a good redirector. But the 252 HP and 76 defense there, that allows you to take 1+1 Glacial Lance from an Adamant 252 Calyrex Ice Rider. And then the 92 special defense also allows you to take a timid 252 Water Spout from a Kyogre in the rain. Not Mystic Water, okay? So I feel like that was also worth doing. And then after that, the 76 or technically 84 attack investment, that just gets it to the first benchmark in the attack stat. So this way you can still deal some decent damage, especially when you terrestrialize. The Smeargle here, again, just like the Indeedee, it is a relaxed 252 set. And like we mentioned earlier, it is, just underspeeding the Calyrex by 1. So this way your Decorate goes first before the Glacial Lance. And then the Blood Moon here, it's a quiet set with 0 speed investment, 252 special attack for, just a big amount of damage. And then the 164 HP just puts its HP stat ending in a 9 to optimize your Life Orb chip. And then the 92 special defense is just leftovers at that point. Okay, so this is rental number 1. Let's move on to rental number 2. Rental number 2 is our CSR team, and we combined ideas for balance along with hyper offense here. So you can see the idea with the Tornadus, the Urshifu, and the Chi-Yu for the hyper offensive partners. You have Tailwind support, you have Surging Strikes, along with the Chi-Yu that just does a lot of damage and can help the Calyrex do even more damage thanks to Beads of Ruin, right? And, this is a Life Orb Calyrex, so, we're going to do a lot of damage here, and we have Nasty Plot. But we need ideas and support to be able to try and set up the Nasty Plot here. So, of course, the common idea to do is just have Redirection and Fake Out, so this way you can set that up, and Clefairy can do that here. Clefairy is one of the best partners for Calyrex because you have Friend Guard to make it even bulkier, and then at the same time you have that Redirection support. And then you have Helping Hand to make the Calyrex do even more damage if you have to. The Rillaboom has that Fake Out pressure, and then it can give you terrain control. It can, pressure Kyogres. It can change Miraidon's terrain and make it weaker. And then it has pivot potential, so you can always use U-turn and then re-pivot out. Maybe pivot into the Chi-Yu for more damage with your Calyrex, or pivot into the Clefairy for that extra Friend Guard in a timely manner. And then Urshifu over here, can do Surging Strikes in the rain. And we also have weather control on this team, right? So the Tornadus has Rain Dance, so you can change weather against Koraidon teams or even like Sunny Day, Whimsicott stuff. And then just, enable the Urshifu to do damage in the rain too, right? So you have physical breaker damage, and then you have the special end with the Calyrex and the Chi-Yu, and you have the support from Clefairy and the Tornadus at the same time, right? So you can also consider like Rillaboom, Urshifu leagues. Again, Fake Out plus Surging Strikes is still a busted combo, right? So you can even take advantage of that if you have to. So you have a lot of tools for a lot of different matchups. You have the Terra Fairy on the Calyrex just to be able to resist the Dark weakness and neutralize the Ghost weakness, and then the Clefairy, with the Grass Terra is, good support for the Amoonguss, especially in, Spore Pressure and whatnot. And then Tornadus has Taunt to deny other setup, deny Protect, and even deny Trick Room if they don't have any Redirector on the field, if you ever have yourself in that scenario. And then the Sash on the Urshifu is just big. The fact that you can just live one big hit and then just go for another Surging Strikes afterwards is, it makes the difference between winning and losing. Okay, so let's take a look at the EVs, because we are a very bulky Calyrex, and I think you have to be if you are going to run this Life Orb Hyper Offense set. You can combine your EVs with bulk along with the Clefairy Friend Guard to, resist a lot of attacks and get a lot of KO ranges. So let's take a look at our EVs. Alright, so here are the EVs for our Calyrex Shadow Rider squad here. So starting with the Calyrex Shadow Rider, so you can see we don't have a lot of special attack investment at all. And the reasoning for that is we're getting a lot of damage boost multipliers. So we have the Chi-Yu on the field for, Beads of Ruin stuff. You have the Clefairy that can, click Helping Hand. And then you have setup plays with Nasty Plot, right? So you don't need all that special attack investment. I'd rather have a little bit more longevity by investing more into my bulk here. So what does this do? So first of all, the 188 HP, that'll optimize for my Life Orb chip. And then combined with the 36 special defense there, that'll just keep you outside of range of the Terra Urshifu Surging Strikes with the Chien-Pao Sword of Ruin on the field. And I think that's always huge when you can survive an Urshifu multiple hit. And then when you add the well, also this is also with, with Friend Guard on the field, and you don't click follow me. Also with Clefairy on the field, if there is a Miraidon in electric terrain, and if they are a timid 252 choice specs here, you are able to survive the Electro Drift and the Draco Meteor, right? You don't even need the Terra Fairy for the Draco Meteor, of course. So you can live that, okay, with that extra special defense investment there. And then, of course, I still go max speed just to, for the mirror, right? You always want to try and win the mirror just based off of speed. So if that means I have to go full bulk and take away my attack but still keep the same speed, I'm going to do it because I have lots of different ways to increase my special attack investment. But I need to be alive to do it, right? Then from here, the Tornadus with that bulk investment, again, with the 212 HP and the 188 defense, that's also for Surging Strikes Ursh, especially with the Terra there. You don't even need the Clefairy. The Chi-Yu is just a standard Modest 252 set. Same with the Urshifu. It is also Adamant 252 with the Sash. The Rillaboom here, with the 132 HP, that puts it at 192 mark for the optimal grassy terrain recovery. The 196 attack investment, that is the third benchmark in the attack stat. The 76 special defense, again, I'm just going for even numbers here. That puts it at exactly 100 special defense. So triple digits there. And then the 100 speed investment, it just lets you outspeed Pelipper stuff, okay? But that's pretty much it for our bulkier CSR build here. So hopefully you enjoyed this one. But let's move on to rental number 3. Rental number 3 is a Zamazenta squad here. So this is a 6 that was used by Miggle VGC, and he borrowed a lot of our spreads here, especially the Raging Bolt, and he was able to win a really big Regulation G tournament recently. So we'll be featuring this relatively shortly. But the only thing that we did after the tournament when he showed us the squad is just we retouched the Pelipper EV slightly a little bit. Almost more or less the same, but we just took away a little bit of speed and put a little bit more in bulk, and we just called it a day, right? But what Miggle is saying here is you have 2 wide guard users here, right? So you can have the Pelipper click wide guard, or you can use the Zamazenta and click wide guard here, right? You're just denying all kinds of spread moves. So the Calyrexes and the Kyogres, they don't get to click their signatures. They have to click something else that maybe might be less optimal, right? And then just having a steel type in the range just makes sure that you don't take as much fire damage, right? Because look at this. You have an Amoonguss here, a Chenpao, and a Zamazenta. All 3 of those don't want to be taking fire type attacks. So having the Pelipper, give you that rain weather control is going to be important here. And then at the same time, you enable your Landorus here, right? So the Landorus is a Scarf set here. So you're able to outspeed pretty much everything. And then you can even go Modest Nature, which means you don't have to go Timid because you have the Scarf. Now you can go Modest, and then you're just going to do a little bit more damage. Again, you have Sandstream Storm now, 100% accurate because you have the Rain from Pelipper. And then at the same time, Landorus is a pretty good check into your Miraidon / Iron Hand stuff, right? So that's why it's there. It's also pretty good into Chi-Yu, which sometimes can give Zamazenta, Chenpao, and Amoonguss some trouble, but this is also why you have the Pelipper to, not only bring weather, but also provide wide guard, so this way Snarl does not come out and neuter the Landorus in one case, right? So after this, look at the Raging Bolt here. Again, another good bulky, splashable option here, with Thunderclap pressure, Volt Switch, able to pivot in and out, and then Draco Meteor just, for a pretty big nuke whenever you need it. Terra Electric, just to be able to do more damage with stuff like Thunderbolt and even Volt Switch. But if you combo this with Chenpao, you have the fabled, famous VGC combo, the Bolt Beam coverage, right? Ice and Electric, so that's also really nice. But overall, you have good balance here. You have 2 support options here with the Amoonguss and the Pelipper. Technically, Zom can also fill that role. You have the offensive threats with Zom Chenpao. Of course, Sword of Ruin just makes Zom do a lot more damage. And then the special damage, 2 special attackers on the team, with the Landorus and the Raging Bolter. So we're still staying consistent with our coverage here. So it was a pretty good squad when Miggle used it, and now we're just putting out the rental here. So yeah, now let's take a look at the EVs and see what we did. All right, so now we're going to look at our EVs here. So the Zom and the Chenpao are pretty self-explanatory. The Chenpao, of course, jolly max speed here. You're going to outspeed the Adamant or Modest base 135s, and then you can just go first with stuff like Ice Spinner, blow up terrain, especially from Miraidon there. And then you have the dark coverage with Door Chop and Sucker Punch, right? The Zamazenta, I always like just playing max speed Zom. Again, that's just for like the max speed Ogre Pawns for that matter. And then of course the almost maxed out Impish Nature. Again, I just left 1 EV out there because that's going to give you an odd number, and then I'd rather just have an even number there with my +1 Dauntless Shield boost. So then that just means one more extra point into the HP there, right? The Pelipper EVs here, so you can see we're a modest, but yet we're also a bulky Pelipper because we have a goggles here. We don't have a sash on this because that's on the Chenpao. So, you know, with 252 HP and 44 defense, you can survive a Adamant 252 Woodhammer from a Rillaboom, which is really nice in grassy terrain too, right? And then you can also survive a +1 Glacial Lance from a Calyrex, which is really nice. And then also with that special defense there, that, you know, the 252 HP along with that 108 Spadef, that lets you live the timid Life Orb 252 Astro Barrage from a Calyrex Shadow Rider. And then it also lets you live the single target psychic move as well from the Shadow Rider too. So I thought that was a pretty important bulk investment there, you know, from our Pelipper. So I liked it a lot. And then you still get modest 36, so you're still dealing some damage, right? And then I just put 60 speed investment just to like outspeed, you know, most of the Incineroars running around, right? So that's really all I did with the Pelipper here. The Amoonguss is more or less the same as our other Amoongusses. Again, 236 HP, 236 defense. That lets you live the Glacial Lance from a Calyrex. The Raging Bolt here does a lot of things. First, it does live the Glacial Lance. It also lives the Chenpao Ice Attack with that 188 HP, 140 defense. Then the 52 Spadef also lets you live a modest Life Orb from a Landorus. Of course, the 124 special attack in the Sun is also really nice, you know, just for the photosynthesis boost for special attack, of course. But again, 124 investment anyway, just hits that bump in the modest nature. And then 4 defense because, you know, you don't really need speed on this Raging Bolt there. You just want to be bulky and deal a bunch of damage. And then, of course, the Landorus with that Scarf set is just a straight 252, 252 set. Okay, so that's rental number 3. Let's move on to rental number 4. Alright, rental number 4 is a Miraidon squad here. So this almost looks like a standard Miraidon team here. The only difference that we really did was take out the Ogerpon Heartflame and add a Chiyu here. So we're going for a little bit more offense with the Chiyu here. It gives you another check to the Shadow Rider, and it lets the Miraidon do even more damage when you look at it, right? So I felt like Miraidon and Chiyu is just also very, very strong together, especially when you have the Tailwind support from a Whimsicott over here. The Furrygraph here, so I also wanted to try this, and it was also pretty cool in testing. The Imprison idea with Furrygraph here, it just stops Calyrex Shadow Riders, the Ice Riders from clicking Trick Room. I did have to give up the Helping Hand there, but I felt like with the Chiyu here, you know, the Miraidon was already doing like enough damage, right? And then same thing with Banned Urshifu. So I didn't really necessarily need the Helping Hand. I felt like Foul Play was just a little bit more valuable along with the Imprison. Because now you're just stopping the Calyrex Ice Rider from clicking Trick Room, right? And then, of course, the Iron Hands here with the Terra Bug was also pretty cool here. And again, I was also just debating and tossing up between like Heavy Slam and Low Kick here, to pros and cons to both. But in the end, I went with Heavy Slam on this type of team here. So yeah, anyway, let's just go ahead and showcase the EVs for this Miraidon squad. Okay, so here are the EVs here. So the Miraidon is pretty self-explanatory. Again, I kept it at Timid 252, 252 instead of Modest. That's just for, you know, the speed wars with other Miraidons. I always felt like I wanted to have at least a shot at the faster one, right? So if I knew that if I saw that they outsped me, then I knew it came down to a speed time, right? The Whimsicott here, so you have a lot of investment here, you know, in our bulk and some speed. Again, we are Covert Cloak. We do not have a sash here. We could have easily put a sash here, but I wanted to put a little bit more bulk on this Whimsicott. So basically, you have enough speed to outspeed a Landorus, and then your bulk there with the 92 special defense, that can live a Miraidon Electro Drift, and that can also live a Calyrex Shadow Rider Astral Barrage, you know, Timid Life Orb stuff, right? And speaking of living both of those, look at my Urshifu set here. So like the 132 HP and then, you know, the 100 Spadef here, that also can live a Miraidon. If you Terra Grass, right? If you Terra Grass, you live a Specs Modest 252 Miraidon in Terrain Electro Drift, which is kind of insane when you think about it, right? So you can live that. And then, you know, I'm hitting the bump there with the 180 attack there, you know, just for a little bit more damage. Then after that, the 92 speed is just to outspeed Pelipper. And that's really all I was going for, just in terms of that. So I felt like this was a pretty cool Urshifu calc, so I just went for it. And then I just settled on that. Now, technically, I did say I went for the bump on the Adamant nature. I did not. I went beyond it. You only need Adamant 156, but I had a couple more EVs left over, so I just dumped the rest into attack, and then I just made it a 190 flat stat there, and that was really all I needed out of the Urshifu. The Chi is also pretty self-explanatory with the modest 252 set there. The Ferrigraph, again, super bulky with Bold Nature. That's just for Urshifu stuff again. And then the Iron Hands with 84 HP and 140 SpDef. That'll get you optimal Rillaboom terrain recovery. They always want to bring Rillaboom into this. By the way, that also is for the Urshifu HP2, 192 investment. And then the 140 SpDef, that does a couple things. That's going to live Flutter Mane Moonblast, especially the ones that don't have attack investment right now. And then that'll also live the Earth Power from a Landorus without the Terra as well. 44 speed just for like mirror matchups, maybe having a little bit more speed than, some of the other Iron Hands that have 4, 12, or 20 investment. So that's really all I was going for there. And then Adamant 236 hits the benchmark for the Adamant attack stat. Okay, but yeah, anyway, that's our Miraidon rental. Let's keep on moving along with the next one. All right, next up is a Kyogre rental with us. And again, if you know how we like to play Kyogre, you see how we have the Tornadus Urshifu Chenpao again. The only difference this time here, besides those four, is we've opted for a Bungus here for a little bit better of a Trick Room matchup. And then the Iron Hands is coming here for a few reasons. One, it's pretty solid into Ice Rider altogether. And then at the same time, it's pretty good into the mirror. So because if you look at this, like, how am I hitting another Kyogre, right? I need an electric type there. So you can even put Arkeladon there. And the Arkeladon in that Iron Hand slot, this was basically our Day 2 Worlds team from last year that we gave out to Richard. So the only difference now is we swapped out the Arkeladon and we put in the Iron Hands. And now you may remember or have seen this 6 from the recent EUIC. That's because it is. This is the Gavin Michaels 6. So we just felt like it matched our Day 2 Worlds team from last year. So we just took it and then just readjusted the EVs a little bit for something else. Hence, we have the rental here now. Okay, so let's take a look and let's see how we did these EVs. All right, so here are the spreads here. And a lot of this is the same stuff that we've been doing before. The Chenpao and the Urshifu is self-explanatory. The Tornadus is the same speed and the same set as my other one. The Timid 92 speed just lets you outspeed Timid Kyogre. It puts you at 157, which outspeeds another Kyogre at Timid 252, which they hit at 156, right? And then you still have all that physical bulk to survive the Urshifu single strike, the Surging Strikes. Not in the rain, right? But at least without the rain. So I still felt like it was worth going for. The Iron Hands has a little bit more SpDef than the other one, but again, it's still more or less doing the same thing that I said. You're surviving the Earth Power Landorus and the Moonblast Flutter Mane there. You're hitting that third benchmark there with the Adamant 236. This time you have Low Kick instead of Heavy Slam. The Amoonguss is the same set as before, just able to survive the Glacial Lance. Now the Kyogre has some bulk here. It's also relatively slow because I can also play this either in a Trick Room idea or even under Tailwind here. So basically with 125 speed, I'm just trying to outspeed Max Serenas here. I don't want to be taking their grass move. And then at the same time, modest 156 just hits the benchmark. And then 132 HP, 100 defense. That gives you a very favorable roll to survive a Wild Charge from an Adamant 156 Iron Hands. So, good physical bulk there. It's already pretty good special defense, right? So I figured a little bit more physical bulk would just extend its longevity there, okay? But that's our Kyogre rental. So now we'll move on into the last rental. All right, we saved the best for last here. Finally, rental number 6 is our double Luna squad here. So finally, we're releasing a Lunala rental here. So basically, we have a couple of ideas here, but I call it double Luna because we're featuring both the Ursaluna and the Lunala here. So it's a hyper offensive mode here. You can play under the Trick Room mode or even under the Tailwind mode. Basically, you can spam Expanding Force because you have Indeedee here. And what you're able to also do is just lead Indeedee Lunala. Click Follow Me, click Trick Room. If they kill the Indeedee, guess who you get to bring in? You get to bring in Torkoal, which can act as like the real restricted and just do so much damage with Choice Specs, Terrafire, Eruption. And then after that, you can even just spam Expanding Force along with that too, right? So you can go for that. Otherwise, you can just do like offensive mode, the fast mode, with Whimsicott clicking Tailwind. And then, you know, Lunala can go for like Meteor Beam, boost up its special attacking stat, and then you can clean in the end game with something like Urshifu for that matter. You can also do like Whimsicott Urshifu for a little bit more offense in the beginning, right? And then you can close things out with Lunala Trick Room mode with either something like Torkoal or even Ursaluna for that matter, right? The Ursaluna just gives you another pretty cool matchup with Miraidon, of course. You are that ground type. The Torkoal it gives you more favorable ideas into the Ice Rider, and it can also take away Rain from some of these teams. And then again, the Trick Room mode with Indeedee Lunala, very oppressive, expanding force damage. If you want to bring your Dark type, you're gonna have to get through Urshifu, right? So Lunala can very well deal with that. And then Terra Grass just lets you get around Amoonguss in Trick Room. It also lets you resist Kyogre stuff, and then you have, you know, super effective damage coming out with Moongeist Beam, so you can even pressure the Ice Rider that way or force it to Terra if you have to, right? So, yeah, and then at the same time, your Urshifu with a Sash, you know, you get 2 attacks, 2 cracks at it. Again, along with Taunt, right? So Taunt, able to shut down redirection and even setups. So I liked Taunt Urshifu in practice. But other than that, Terra Fairy Ursaluna, again, that's just for the fighting super effective move like a close combat coming into it. And then you get to just neutralize the grass and the water weakness altogether by having Terra Fairy too. Okay. But yeah, that's it. So now let's look at the EV spreads and let's see how we did them. Alright, so here are the EVs for this last rental here. So basically the Urshifu and the Torkoal are pretty self-explanatory. You have your Sash and your specs there. Of course, Torkoal is going to be Quiet Nature with 0 speed. Just to get the best bang out of your buck with the Eruption, and Choice Specs again with Terrafire, even more damage. The Whimsicott EVs are the same Whimsicott EVs as our other team. The only difference here is a Terra Normal as opposed to a Terra Dark. I figured, you know, you can't really taunt me anyway in, you know, Psychic terrain, so I figured I'd just go normal. Just another immunity to the Calyrex Shadow Rider, Astral Barrage stuff. The Ursaluna 140 HP, that's just to optimize against Flame Orb chip damage. Then I have the 236 attack for the benchmark, and then dumping the rest into special defense because that is just what is left over. And then the Lunala here, the EVs look a little strange here, but again, the 92 speed just lets me outspeed something like a Pelipper, so I can get rid of it from clicking Y guard, and then that means I can spam Expanding Force after that. Then almost max special attack there, you know, just taking 1 point off there, so I don't have an odd number when I get a +1 from my Meteor Beam. And then the 36 HP EVs with 132 defense, that is just meant to survive a jolly 252 Wicked Blow from a single strike Urshifu with my Shadow Shield up, okay? So that's it. That's pretty much the spreads here. So let's just do a final wrap up here and get you guys out of here. Alright folks, so that's it. You have your 6 rentals there for the month of March, so give them a go. Let us know how you do. And again, if you also want to try and build your own squad, but you need a little bit of help, make sure you sign up for coaching on the channel. Tier 3 sub gets you a one-on-one Discord meeting with me where we can build the team of your choice and hash out all the EVs just like how we showed you on our screen over here. And then if you need some tournament prep, if you need some help building a team for a regional, or just need something for ladder play, we can help you with that at the same time as well. So sign up for the coaching session. If you look in the video description below, as well as in the pinned comment section, there is a link to join the channel with the tier 3 sub. And once you click that link, then you can message me and then we can coordinate from there. All right, but you can join the Discord for free. That you don't need to pay for, of course. We have over 1,000+ members in our Discord, so feel free to join an engaging BGC community. All right, but that's it. Enjoy the rentals. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.